And that's where I was standing at 2:49 when a bomb goes off across the street from me.
My only thought was, we have to get out of here. It turns out I said that. But I did not hear myself speak. I heard nothing for the 12 seconds between the first bomb and the second bomb. I had no sense of anything other than what was going on across the street.
I thought they just ruined the Boston Marathon.
I knew I wasn't okay. And I was very frightened by what I was feeling, and I wasn't able to take care of myself. I just witnessed a murder, so it probably makes sense that I can't sleep. I didn't know at the time that it was completely normal to feel these kinds of things.
As the days and weeks were going on, I realized I wasn't hearing my story in the news. Nobody was talking about the psychological impacts of the event.
I started to meet other people who were at the finish line and had walked away without any physical injuries, but were reeling emotionally and psychologically. And we didn't necessarily know how to handle it.
I felt more and more like we were invisible. And I got really angry about that. For better or for worse, there still is a stigma about mental health injuries.
It's important to validate those mental health experiences after an event like this, so people understand they can draw on their own coping skills to heal, and we can let them know that we expect them to heal. If we could take care of people earlier in the process and help them understand that it is normal to be traumatized by something like this, people might be more willing to get help or more willing to understand what's going on with them. And part of processing all of this is really just understanding what's happening to you. I was gobsmacked at how hard it was to advocate for myself after this event. And I wasn't getting as much support from the community as I now look back and wish that I had gotten. But I really worry about people in communities who have a hard time advocating for themselves at the best of times. The public health community, the mental health community, the victim services community, they all are ready with so many resources available to people after events like this. If you don't think that your experience is actually valid, you're not likely to look for some of these resources. So that's where community support comes in, and social support, and supporting our friends and colleagues and neighbors after they experience violence.
I think my experience would have been very different if early on I had heard my story in the press, if I'd heard my civic leaders talking about people like me.
We need to help people understand that experiencing distress and distressing symptoms after violence is absolutely normal, and that they have coping skills to get themselves better as much as they can and to seek support when they need it. So I want us to loudly be sharing the story of the emotional trauma after violence. I want the person who's experienced that and who's feeling the mental health impacts to know that you see them, to know that they are not invisible.